Hello, and welcome back to the After Bedtime podcast. I am your host, UEP Burrito. And on tonight's episode, I want to discuss the origins of Halloween and El Día de Muertos, or the Day of the Dead. Halloween is on October 31st, and Los Días de los Muertos is on November 1st and 2nd. These holidays have become a night of trick-or-treating and candy for kids, parties for adults, and both for an excuse to wear a fun costume and to have a day to pretend to be somebody else or something else. Also, the next day, November 1st, is a day of remembrance of family members and friends that have died in the past. And I've personally been thinking a lot recently of my family that is no longer with me on this plane of existence for actually quite a while now, for about a month or so. And I don't know, it's gotten me to think about like the origins of Halloween and Los Días de los Muertos. And so I did some research and looked it up, and pretty much this is what I found. So let me get into it. Halloween is deeply rooted in our Western world with the traditions of the Autumn Festival. It has its origins in the ancient Celtic festival of Samhain. Samhain commenced on the eve of October 31st and brought in the new Celtic New Year on November 1st. The Celts thought that of this time as a liminal period where the boundaries of the living and the dead became mutable, which means it became real easy for them to cross back and forth. And on the eve of Samhain, it is believed that the veil between the two realms was the most transparent, and it was the easiest for the spirit to come back to Earth and return and visit Earth and their loved ones that they're still living on this plane, in this realm, as they put it. The tradition of getting candy while trick-or-treating comes from the tradition of leaving food out on doorsteps on All Hallows Eve, which we now call Halloween. And the candy and the treats on the doorsteps helped prevent wandering spirits and fairies from entering your houses. So such food offerings for the spirits form an integral role in many of the fall festivals around the world. On this side of the pond, in Mexico, El Día de Muertos is well known around the world with its distinctive decorative styles, especially the calaveras, or the skulls. Ghostly shaped treats and the sugar calaveras are made for the children on the eve of November 2nd, El Día de Muertos. That's the actual Day of the Dead, is November 2nd. But the November 1st and November 2nd is called Los Días de los Muertos because it's 2 days, so it's plural. Those Spanish just for you people out there. Anyway, on the eve of November 2nd, the Dia de Muertos, extended families would meet at the grave sites of deceased relatives and hold a little, commemorative festival for their loved ones. The Aztec Festival of the Dead was originally a 2-month celebration during the fall harvest, and figures of quote-unquote death were personified as well as honored. The festival was presided over by, and I'm sorry right now, I'm going to butcher these names because I'm not, Aztecan. Okay. The festival was presided over by Michuchichahuato. I hope I said that right. Michuchichahuato, which she was the goddess of dead and the underworld, Michlan, something like that. I don't know. If you guys know how to speak this properly, hit me up. Let me know if I'm saying it right or not. The peaceful realm of Michlan is pretty much like the afterlife. The Aztecs' pre-Columbian belief system. It was a realm where the souls were rested until the days of visiting the living. Los Días de los Muertos. And this is what their beliefs were at the time when the Spanish arrived with their Christianity, and they tried to change the festival from what they were calling, what they were doing, to All Saints Day. But the festival has lasted throughout time as Los Días de los Muertos. They might have shortened it from 2 months to 2 days, but I mean it's still Los Días de los Muertos. And it's been an interesting journey, learning the history of Halloween and all this stuff. Looking all this thing up, finding out that around the world, these types of Days of the Dead is celebrated around fall, the same time period. And it's during this time as the end draws near of the year and the new beginning of another new year starting again, that it becomes easy for a relative that have passed to creep into your memories. And I think that's what happened to me. I found myself thinking a lot about my grandparents this past month or so, as I was saying in the beginning of the episode. And I was thinking of the good times I had, the close relationship I had with them. I recall the moment at my grandmother's wake when I stood up and spoke about the experience I had about a brown hawk, or maybe it was a falcon. I don't really know what kind of bird. I'm not was it an ornithologist or whatever the bird doctor is, but I mean it was a brown bird. Okay, and let me back up. Okay, after my grandfather passed, I noticed a brown, let's just say it's a hawk, following me. Wherever I was at, for a few months, it would just pop up periodically, just watching me. It would seem, and after a few days, I wouldn't see the bird. I'd be like somewhere else in another city, and bam, there's that bird again looking at me. It was kind of weird, but I always had a feeling, like I felt that bird was like my grandfather watching over me. And I don't know, it was kind of weird for me, because it was almost like I still had my grandfather watching over me. And then after my grandmother died, this is where it gets kind of weird for me. I hadn't seen the bird in a while, and then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, after my grandmother died, here comes the brown bird again. They're sitting there on a branch watching me, and this time there's another bird with him, a smaller brown bird, a smaller brown hawk. And I swear up and down, and I have no proof of this, but in my heart I've always felt that those were my grandparents looking at me one last time before they left. And I think he was circling around watching all of us because he knew that her time was coming soon. Even though I haven't seen those birds in a while, ever since then, I do wonder every now and again where they flew off to, saying, thought about how it was to spend the afterlife, or even for a moment in the afterlife to be a bird soaring over the heavens and looking down on earth. I think that's such a cool gift for two very good souls that lived their lives good on this plane of existence that we call reality. But anyway, I don't know. Like I said, it's more about this time of year, And what's cool about this time of year is Halloween, and then everyone loves Halloween for the most part. Everyone, kids love it because they get to dress up, and then get to play in a costume, and they get candy and treats and play games and socialize at parties, like at a school or at their friend's house or something, because their friends are throwing parties. Adults, they get to play too. They get to have a time where they can have a party and hang out for a little bit, and they also have the understanding to reflect on those that have lost their life and take a moment to mourn a friend or a family member that is no longer with us. To take a stroll down memory lane and remember the fun and good times, the rough patches that you have endured together with somebody. I think those are the real tests, those rough patches. But it's the journey you had together that you remember, and the reality that your journey no longer includes them because their time has passed. And I think it's during this time of year when the realms open up, and we have a few days where we can reconnect to those that we lost somehow on a spiritual level. Because we might not be able to see them, but they're coming here to look at us and see us. So just to have those days where we can actually acknowledge that, and it's kind of cool. I mean, like I said, it's different now that I'm older, and I can see it's through the eyes of a kid because I've been through it, and I'm also seeing it now as an adult because now I have kids, so I'm seeing it through their eyes and my own. And it makes you think and just ponder like reality and stuff. So while you're out there and you're enjoying your festivals this time of year, don't forget to take a moment to remember someone that you lost and send them your love into their realm so they can receive it during this time of remembrance and festivities. Happy Halloween and Días de los Muertos. I'll see you guys next time after bedtime. Good night, everybody.